Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum. Iqbal's Inspirations and Insights with Fahad Khan. One of the messages in the poetry of Allama Iqbal, and one of our belief, is that this world that we live in, this materialistic, physical entity that we live in, is temporary. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, everything will come to an end except for the only existence that really matters, that really, the only being that actually is there is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And so in one of the poems in Bala Jibreel, Allama talks about the idea that how we get stuck in this world and we get caught up in this world, whereas this world is nothing but a temporary place, and there's more to our existence and our being than just this world that we can feel and see. He says, Sitaron se aage jahan aur bhi hain, abhi ishq ke imtihān aur bhi hain. That the physical world that we see, astronomically speaking, the world of stars, there are other worlds beyond this. And this world which tests our love and our ishq, we have to understand that this is just the beginning, and there are more worlds out there, and there are more existences out there that will continue to test our passion and our ishq and our devotion to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, in the world of science, we can see that, right? There, when people looked at the stars, some people thought of God and some people didn't think of God. They thought something else. In fact, they went into disbelief. And as we explore more and more existences and worlds that exist around us, for example, the world that exists inside of us, what are we made of? The biological and physiological systems that exist inside of a human being. If we go at an atomic or subatomic level, these are the tests that exist for us and test our devotion and our love for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, for example, we have Dr. Francis Collins, who was the head of the Genome Project, the Human Genome Project, looking at the genetic composition of human beings. When he saw that, he very appropriately titled his book on it, which is called The Language of God. He saw the human genomic and the genes and the imprinting as a language of God. But somebody else might see it and they might lose faith in God. And then Allama continues on to say, Tahi zindagi se nahi ye fizaएं, yahan saikodon karwan aur bhi hain. That again, this life is not just based on the life that we see. There are many other caravans that are existing, that are coexisting in this world that we see. And then he says, Qanaat nakal alame rangubu par, chaman aur bhi ashiyan aur bhi hain. That the world that we have, the world that we exist and we live in, we end up being okay and focusing on and putting all of our energy on this world of what he calls rangobus, color and smells. And he says there's more to it. There are more existences that we have that we may not be able to encompass and measure through just mere smell or sight. He continues on, Agar kho gaya ek nasheman to kya gham, muqamat aho fugan aur bhi hain. That if you lost a place, if you lost your status, if you lost your physical place of comfort, then don't worry. There are many more places and many more states and many more existences and stages that you can find the same comfort and same solace in. And then his famous line, Tu shahi hai parwaz hai kaam tera, tere samne asma aur bhi hai. That you are like a falcon, you're like a shaheen, whose job is to keep flying, whose job is to fly high, and not focus on one house or dwelling, not focus on one a specific area, rather to look beyond what you may see within your grasp. And in front of you, there are still many more skies to come. And then he says, Isi roz o shab mein ulaj kar na reh ja, ke tere zaman o makan aur bhi hain. That this world of day and night, this existence, this repetitive, cyclical existence that we have, don't get stuck in this. Because for you, there are many more places of existence and times of existence. Like, you are not bound to this place and this space. You're not bound to this time either. Now, this is a message that Allama has talked about throughout his poetry. So he ends very beautifully by talking about himself and saying, Gaye din ke tanha tha main anjuman mein, yahan ab mere razdan aur bhi hain. That those days have gone where I was alone in this type of thinking, in this type of process and these worries. Now there are many more who understand my pain and who are able to empathize with me. So, to summarize, our existence is not based in this world. What we see with our eyes, what we can feel through our body, what we can hear, what we can smell, is not the world and the only world that exists. And our role is not to be stuck in this world. Rather, we utilize what exists in this world. And we have to understand that our role, that our destination is beyond this existence. May Allah guide us. Ameen.